Alright, so this is Project Zomboid, this only challenge. There isn't really a way to win Project Zomboid, so instead I'm just defining winning Project Zomboid as being at the Louisville bridge during the helicopter event. So for the rules of this challenge, I'm playing on Apocalypse Slurred. I can only kill zombies using pistols, and while bumping into zombies with cars and shoving them doesn't count as killing them. Obviously stopping them or running them over would. I'm going to be spawning in Rosewood for this because it's the only town that has a police station which you can get into really easily and actually has a decent amount of guns. I'm going to be going with Veteran for my occupation because of Desensitized, which means that I won't be getting painted, which prevents their nasty damage debuff that Bandit gives you until you hit aiming level 6, which I don't think a lot should be hitting in this run. I went with a pretty basic build. I'm just adding Hunter to Veteran for that extra aiming XP, because hitting level 3 is really good to start out with. Other than that, it's a really standard build other than adding a Wittery, because I won't be playing this character for very long, so I don't need the ability to read books. Wakeful and Athletic are important still, so I can, move around with HUD, because there is a lot of walking, and I don't want to be falling asleep, in the middle of a field somewhere. Fast Learner is to just stack as much XP as possible for learning how to aim, because obviously that's going to be very, very important for this build. The general strategy for this is just going to be get a decent number of guns and a car as fast as I can, because since I only have until the helicopter event happens, I actually am really, really short on time. I only have a maximum of 9 days to reach the bridge, or potentially as little as 6. So that I really just gotta be able to keep moving and move as fast as possible. So I'm just doing a regular build. I don't really want to customize it too much. I thought the name Little Gun was funny, so I'm going with that. And then the shooting glasses kind of complete the look. It looks like the type of person who would walk into the apocalypse and decide that shooting everyone is not only the best solution, but the only solution. I considered getting a hat, but unfortunately the hat limits the hair options, and I like the long hippie hair going on. Spawned in, the first thing I want to do is just grab some food, water, just some things that is going to carry me over as I make my way across the countryside to the first gun store that I can reach. There's not really any point for me to loot any sort of books, because obviously I'm illiterate, but just about everything you could imagine that would be useful in a normal Zomboid run is kind of pointless here, because I can only use guns. And it's going to be a very short run, so traditional things like, tools, mechanics tools, all those sorts of things are just not going to be useful, because I am going to be done with this run in a maximum of 9 days. So now that we're spawned into Rosewood, we are just going to run directly, not to the police station, but to the fire station. The zombies are really slow, and there's not a lot of them on Apocalypse mode. So just walking past all of them is a surprisingly viable option. In a normal run, I would actually probably just do this as well if I have Mispawn and Rosewood. Rosewood is just such an easy start, because there is nothing preventing you from doing this. In other spawns, like Riverside, you know, you could also do this in Riverside, but the police station there is just so small. Moldra, the police station, is guarded by way more zombies, and there's no guarantee you can just get an axe to bust past that security door, which would obviously kind of kill your run before it even started. So after getting past the zombies, I'm just going to go actually spot that truck, which you can probably see. And the interesting thing about those trucks is they actually have their own loot gables, which generally contains an axe. And I get lucky here, and there is an axe, but unfortunately there is zombies right on my tail. Normally I would just, well, probably just loop around the building, but I kind of panic here because I'm getting very fixated on that axe. I want it a lot. Because I don't know if there's going to be one in the station. There normally is. There's like almost always one, but I don't know for certain. So right now I'm just kind of herding up the zombies. I'm trying to decide, am I going to go back for that axe, or am I just going to look inside the fire department and hope to find another axe there? And to repeat, I need the axe so that I can bust down the security door around the police armory. And without that, I would have to get very lucky to just find the keys, which I actually don't think that's possible, unless you spawn in there. But I get into the station, and they have plenty of axes, so I just grab one and I'm getting out of there. Closing the door behind me is generally useful, just because that way any zombies that were aggroed onto me are going to follow me to the door and then just bang on the door uselessly for a while. This is the first kind of exciting section, and there will be more to come. At this moment, I'm just trying to get all of the zombies aggroed onto me because I can't kill them, which means to get to the guns there has to be basically no zombies inside the station, because it'll take me a hot minute to actually break into that armory. So at the moment I am just walking up and down the street, screaming at the top of my lungs, you know, regular Kentucky things. Everybody who lives in Kentucky has done this at least once. Don't tell me you haven't, you're a liar. And so just going up and down, getting everybody all gathered. And I do this sort of hop over the fence here. It's not actually as risky as it seems, because you can sprint away almost instantly as soon as you spawn in, or rather land after getting over the fence. And by doing that, you are pretty much invincible. Slow zombies won't be able to hit you when you're jogging, unless you're jogging directly into them, but even then you'll stumble. So after escaping all of the zombies, I am inside the station. I get to whacking down the doors. I go the wrong way. And then I have zombies that are aggroed onto me. So it's back to trying to lose them. I decide to lose them through this door here. Just close that behind me. But unfortunately, I did not do a very good job of escaping zombies earlier, and so there are way more now than I would like. So that means I am going back. I consider using that door again, but it is probably swarmed by zombies, so instead I'm just going to run. Running is not the most effective way of escaping zombies, but if you just need a little bit of time, it's pretty effective. Slam that door in the zombie's face, pass through these doors to distract any aggroed zombies, go in there, but slam that door behind me, and I can start to bash these down. Knowingly, there is a zombie there, and so I just kind of shove him over. I don't know why I started looting at that moment. This was like my 5th attempt. I should have known better, but obviously I have to get around, slam another door in a zombie's face, and now I can go get my choice. Generally, I'm just looking for as many M9 magazines and boxes of bullets as possible. I've gotten more in some other runs I've done, but those have all ended with me dying horribly. So this is the best one I've got. The reason why I have the extra guns is mostly just to eject the magazines later, but also gun durability is very low in this game again. Just having extra guns on hand to either repair the ones that I'm using or just obviously swap out is way more important than you might think initially. Ammo is our main limiting factor, but not our only limiting factor. And so now at this point, I am back to this chill walking around, and I just have a long way to walk. There is some houses that I want to hang out in to spend the night, and I will pass by them shortly. I go in here just to see if I can get some more food, water. Grapefruits are great for water content, which lets you basically just have probably about like 2-3 water bottles worth of water from just a single fruit. Obviously not as convenient as a water bottle, but it's still really good. At this moment, I am just swapping between my items, you know, doing inventory management, grabbing more food. I honestly get way more food than I need to. I am never really short on food this run. I could have taken strong to get some extra carry weight, but I really didn't need it as much as I thought I would. And frankly, I think athletic, just to be able to run for longer, yeah, it was helpful really early on, and I'll also for run as inconsistent as this, because this run, to be clear, is incredibly dependent on RNG. You can, through no fault of your own, just not be able to complete it in time, because you didn't find a car, there weren't enough bullets in the police station. If you get really unlucky, then might not even be an axe. That Horde of Zombies had a guy with a big backpack by his side. I don't want to waste my bullets because I only have, I think, like 150 at this point in time. And if there is an alarm at the gun store that I'm going to, I am going to need those bullets. Saying that, I then proceed to immediately race some on these random zombies here. I'm just looking for a place to go, somewhere I can bed down for the night. And unfortunately, when you have your only weapon is a pistol, which is very loud. I get my first kill there, my second kill there, and after gunning down the residents, I can just steal their home. You know, the American way. That's the only way you're gonna get a house in this economy, let's be real. Just basic inventory management. I get a screwdriver here, which is huge because that means I can start to attach and remove attachments. There, I was just showing that I didn't have any mods active, but it's fast forwarded because I decided I wanted to show like the entire run, no cuts. So this entire video is basically at 3 to 4 times speed. A lot of very long walking now. Just so much walking. Because we were basically walking from Rosewood through about a quarter of the map to get to Jimmy Dunn and the Jimmy Dunn Army surplus. I actually went the wrong way here. I usually have a different path, which is better and avoids more zombies, but I am stupid and went the wrong way. And here we are. So this is the only comment which is not going to be fast forwarded just because it kind of shows you how you want to be using guns. The first thing you want to do is not panic like I do here, and I just hit all the buttons on my keyboard and I forget to even have my gun out. So boom, boom, boom. Even though I'm only aiming 3 here, and a lot of people think you need way more aim for pistols than just aiming 3, by putting ourselves basically point blank with zombies, we can just get hit after hit. We're getting, at this range, probably about plus 50% hit, probably about plus 40% crit chance, just by being so close to the zombies. And pistols crit for a lot of damage, and unlike melee weapons, gun damage doesn't actually scale with the enemy level, it is always at its highest possible damage. And so by just pointing bolt, you know, just put it up to their head, pull the trigger, and you can just do way better with guns than you might expect, especially at such a low aim level relative to what people generally think of. Now, I did get lucky and I got the laser sight, which gives me another 6% hit chance. The main thing that does for me is it lets me be able to take shots like 1.5 tiles away, 2 tiles away, instead of being limited to only 1 tile away, you know, get that real point-blank experience. But yeah, this classic Zomboid shooting, for those of you who do a lot of gunplay with vanilla guns, you're gonna recognize this. This is just trailing, training, and shooting zombies. Generally, you want to avoid moving while shooting as much as possible because that destroys your hit and crit chance, but I do it sometimes because I am bad at video games. Should be wrapping up the combat here shortly, which means I can get into this massive gun store, and I do mean massive. It might be the biggest one outside of Louisville, to be frank. Like, there is just so much gun. But there's too many guns, which is so much ammo, because there's 8 crates, which can randomly be ammo crates. And then there's the entire just back of the store, which is just filled to the brim with guns and ammo. Of course, I get an alarm. On every single attempt I have done, I have gotten an alarm on this building. I don't know how that's possible. It's annoying. And so even though I should be getting out, I have failed this run at this moment just by running out of bullets and not being able to get into there. And so I've been having a pretty good run so far, and it takes a long time to get to this point, and I'm kind of tired of restarting. I have so much footage on my hard drive. I'm just like, you know what? I don't care. I am just going to go get myself another pistol, and I'm just going to pretend that the zombies aren't here. And that's stupid. I shouldn't do that, but I get very lucky, and it works out for me. This is our first M9 pistol. Or not M9, 1911, and it's alright. So the thing about the higher caliber pistols, like the 1911 and the Beetle, is that their hit chance is a little bit lower than the regular M9, but the main thing that makes them worse is just the fact that they have 7 and 8 bullets, respectively, instead of 15 that the M9 does. In return for that, you get a bit more damage, but damage isn't really your main limiting factor with guns, it's crit chance, because an M9 is going to kill a zombie in 2 shots without a crit and 1 with a crit most of the time. If you're unlucky, it'll take 3, and sometimes the higher caliber guns basically just make it so that you'll always kill in 2, and the 44 Magnum, if you're very lucky, can actually kill in 1 shot without a crit. That's unlikely, but it can happen. And for those of you who don't know, zombies have 1.5 to 1.8 HP, and you can just see the damage of the guns on the wiki. It's all accurate. The only thing that doesn't display is that guns only deal 63% of their printed damage. So if it says you're dealing 0.5 to 1 damage, After means your maximum damage is 0.63. So you have less damage than you think you would. This is because guns used to use the melee swing system, where you're swinging it, like between a zombie with a melee weapon. If you're hitting at the end of your weapon, you have more force, and so you deal, I believe it's close to like 120% of the weapon's damage. While when you're swinging and you're basically just hitting them with the handle of your weapon, you're only going to be dealing as little as 50 to 20%. And there's a first aiming level up, which is sweet. Any level 4 means that we'll actually be able to get consistent hits with the 1911 now, just because that adds the extra 13% to the hit chance. And yeah, so melee weapons use that system where hitting from far away deals less damage, and guns used to use that on a bug report got made by me. I'm very proud of that. And because nobody was talking about that, but I happened to find it while testing some other things. It got fixed, and so the way it fixed it is just eliminating it so guns always hit as if you're hitting at half of their max range, which translates to 62% of the damage. Sorry for the cut there. That was just bad editing, and I'm only seeing it now, but frankly, I am tired of editing this video, and no one's going to watch this video anyways because B42 drops in only a couple of weeks. So I am just looting now. I have all the time in the world. Fortunately, I did aggro some zombies on the wood, but at this point, the main thing stopping me from wanting to run is cars and driving. Driving, since I cannot kill zombies without a pistol, is very difficult because I can't just push my way through zombies if they're blocking the road. I have to always go around them, and if there's too many, I will just have to stop, pull over, and shoot them all. And shooting them all while bringing more, and you know how this goes, it just takes a long time. This is what I mean about the Jametown Army surplus just being so huge, and just there's so much ammunition there. This is more the reason why Rosewood is the only valuable town for this challenge. Is the one closest to this surplus, and this surplus is Slice. Oh, so this is boarded. I accidentally took Disorganized when I started this run. I meant to take High Thirst, and so I just swap it out in debug mode. This is the only thing I do in debug mode, but if it ruins the run for you, I can understand why you'd be upset. Feel free to click off the video. But for those of you who aren't bothered, welcome back. So yeah, as I was saying, Rosewood is the only viable place for this kind of run because of the police station, but also because of its proximity to the Jametown Army surplus. At this moment, I'm kind of really hoping to find an M625 because I generally prefer that over the 1911, but I'm just not finding one. I'm not finding any revolvers, really. I am just getting a lot of ammo and a lot of semi-automatic pistols. The Deagle, I find first one here. I hate the Deagle. 44 ammo is very heavy. You only have something like 12 shots to a box instead of like 30 or 40 like you would for lower caliber pistols. It's heavy, it's loud, it's the least accurate of the pistols, and it can't even one-shot zombies without a crit, so the extra damage is not doing much for you. The end, I think, is sound sucks. Being completely overloaded like this is more than a little risky, but with how much noise I've made between the alarm and all of those gunshots, at this moment I am pretty confident that I can just drop off all my stuff, do some organizing, and head down for the I decided to drink the whole milk bit just as kind of payment for getting rid of high thirst. Or rather, picking up high thirst when I didn't have it at the start. Just trying to represent the liquids that I would need to consume, but I hadn't. Loading all my guns. And now I need to find a car. This is where one of the previous runs has died. I just need to get a car with keys, and preferably with gas, but gas is optional. This early on, the pumps are still going to be on. I grabbed some food, because for some reason I'm always worried about running out of food, as if that's like an actual thing that's going to happen in this game. There's not just food everywhere. The downside of a pistol only run starts to show here because I have to get around town, and the only way I can get around town is by shooting up the entire town. Thankfully, the M9 is a very quiet pistol, so it won't aggro everybody immediately, but as I'm moving around shooting, I will waste a lot of bullets here, which sucks because the M9 is my favorite pistol, but I have to use it so early on because it's the most accurate pistol, and I don't have the aiming to be able to consistently get away with using the 1911 at this point. And I also don't have the magazines, which means I would be spending a ton of time reloading. And that is annoying and also dangerous, because sometimes you forget that you are out of bullets, and you end up trying to shoot your gun with no bullets left in the chamber, which is a good way to die, because the pistol whip stops you, and you don't want to be stopped. It completely stops your movement. Airwalks you in place. You can't move and do the whip at the same time like you can do a shove. In an older version of the game, the pistol whip animation took a long time. Oh, and I find a card here. I'm getting incredibly lucky. It has gas. It's in good condition. It's a quiet car. It's not a very big car, but loot beggars can't be choosers. Except for I can, because I go to see if this van has the keys in it. It also has gas, which is nice, but no keys, so I will not be doing van life today. I pick up some cake for some reason, as if I'm actually still short on food. I have more food than I'll ever need. And now it's just time to go fill up at the pump. And of course I aggro a million zombies, but honestly, zombies are not the biggest threat when you have this much ammo in your pocket. And just saying point blank, as always, I can shuffle and shoot a little bit more at this point than I could at the first combat, because my aim has leveled up, so I can get away with a couple of footsteps here and there, and still maintaining the 95% accuracy, which is the accuracy cap. You can hold down R to pull up that menu, which makes reloading much more convenient. A lot of people don't know that. You can also press X to clear gun jams, which is what I do for the most part. Honestly, at this point, the game is starting to feel more like Left 4 Dead than Project Zomboid. You know, not setting up a base, just going from place to place, shooting everything. And this is why I don't get people who say guns are bad. Like, you could not kill this many zombies this quickly if I'm in a melee build. You know, if this was a regular run, I would have just cleared out this entire town, all of its loot, and basically been able to survive here pretty much forever, with only a couple of minutes of shooting. I grabbed even more food here. Most of this doesn't even get eaten. The run finishes before I would ever need this much food. I'm pouring out all of the soda here to get more bottles to fill up with gas. parked the car the wrong way, gotta flip it around. Not having fuel side indicator is annoying, but hey, it's having in B42. Alright, so after filling up at the gas pump, we actually find a gas can in the car, which was pretty lucky. I wasn't expecting that. I was kind of just presuming I was going to be running on the bottle, so we saw from the gas station earlier. Just basic inventory management. It's so useful that you can fill bottles of gas now. And older versions of Zomboid, you couldn't do that. And I have once or twice on the entire run that kind of just took days, weeks for me just walking around trying to find a gas can, because they were so rare for no reason. Here's the only way to move gas around. But now we've got our car. I just drive it over to the army surplus and I get colluding. As you imagine, a lot of this run is just grabbing an obscene amount of bullets because, I mean, there's not much else to do. It's not like I have a train. I'm not trying to level up any skills. I am only attempting to get as much guns and ammo as I can. I have a walk of 45, and that's because 45 is a really common round in military locations as well as gun stores. 9mm is also common in some areas, mostly police stations, but it's not as common as I would like. And 38 Special is okay. The M36 is a very quiet gun, it's a very accurate gun. It also does so little damage that the damage actually matters. Because sometimes you'll just shoot a zombie 3 times and it won't die. So now I've got my first driving segment, and honestly I should have kept my axe with me, because as someone coming up will demonstrate, having an axe with you while driving is really convenient if you don't want to damage your car, because sometimes you'll just come across a car wreck on the road and you won't have the ability to chop down trees to just get around it. Doing a lot of close maneuvers, dodging zombies, sorry. And kind of just cruising. I said checking out my kills in this moment. And here's the part where I wish I had my axe. So I have to get you a firefight here. There's just no way I can get the car around those cars before either the zombies break my car, or worse, I accidentally run over a zombie. And obviously I can't afford to run over a zombie because that's the entire point in the run. I hate fighting in the woods with guns. It's one of the areas where I think people who hate guns I can't point, because there's a lot of zombies that you just would not see. You would not ever interact with them otherwise if you weren't using guns. And it's also a bit of a fight. I'm still using my 9mm here just because it's more accurate. After finally clearing the area, I have to do this annoying dance where I scoot the car forward, scoot the car back, and just try to wiggle my way through there. I just really, really wish I had bothered to keep my axe at this point in time, because I could have just chopped down those trees and saved myself some extra car durability. You can imagine how frustrating this was to do in real time. But I finally squeezed through here. Imagine how destroyed a cart would be if you tried to do that in real life. just a lot more driving. Going on. That zombie isn't dead. I actually pull up there to make sure that he gets back up, because I can bump into zombies but not kill them. Take a wrong turn there. I go backwards for a little bit because I'm stupid. And another zombie that I thought I killed, but I backed up again and I can just see that he's not quite dead. And then suddenly I realize I have already arrived at my destination, or at least where I think is my destination. I'm actually wrong about it being my destination. And I get into a huge fight. And I'm using my M36 here, which you'll notice means that things go a little bit slower. It only has 5 bullets in the chamber, or rather 5 bullets in the cylinder. And I level up my aiming, which is sweet. At this point, I don't think I'll level up aiming again. I might get like 1 more, but I'm at 5 aiming now. And after this fight, I'm going to be using the 1911 for most combat, because I'm pretty much out of my millimeter ammo. I've got maybe 100, 200 rounds left. And this fight can just demonstrate to me why I don't like using M36. You just have to spend so much time reloading, and you can't reload it like you can with the semi-automatic pistols, but you just load up a bunch of magazines. Because then you can easily, like, let's say you have 10 9mm magazines, well then, boom, you've got 150 bullets loaded. So this isn't actually the building I was looking for. This is just a random Clinting sporting goods store. But it's getting late, it's 10 p.m, it'll be dark soon. I flashed the door just to unlock it. Looking for anything useful, but honestly, I don't really need much. Grab a spare bag, just intending to use it, my second hand or primary hand for when I'm looting the store, which is next to here. Do some preloading, kind of just waiting for it to get dark. You fucking go to sleep and I'll wake up when I'll still be right up. Classic fast forwarding while waiting to get sleepy. That happens when you don't do melee combat and you have wakeful and athletic. You get tired so slowly that you don't actually need a full night's sleep. So now I'm going over to where I intended to go the first time, the actual gun store, not the random hunting sporting goods store. I demonstrate why the 9mm is better by killing that entire pack of zombies without having to reload. The M36 can't do that. So I get into a small scuffle here. Not that many zombies hear me because I've already killed a ton yesterday. But I have to go break into the door. Once again, I'm wishing I had that axe, but I did see a meat cleaver impaled in a zombie yesterday when I was doing that bear shootout. So I go back over to him, or at least I try to walk around a bit, and boom, meat cleaver. So the meat cleaver, it doesn't destroy doors as fast. It's an axe, but it's as close as you're gonna get. And it can also chop down trees pretty fast as well, but you can't speed it up like you can when chopping down trees with an axe. You're literally just swinging it at the tree. This area has actually really high amount of zombies, which is why every time I start a fight, I bring in more. But I just want to get into that gun store. Smash down the door and set off yet another alarm, and I am just in disbelief at my luck at this point. I have entered 4 buildings in the entire run, and 2 of them have had alarms. At this point, I'm just trying to do some quick ammo management because I know for a fact that I don't have enough 9mm bullets for this, and I really don't want to use my M36 again. So it is back to just killing more zombies. And this one is a much bigger fight than last time because unlike the Jamie turn, where the previous alarm went off, that was at the north part of the town. And that town does not have a whole lot of zombies. This area does have a lot of zombies, and the gun store is closer to the center of it. So using my 9mm here, just trying to get as much use of it as I can. I still got it. And also, I don't have that many M9 magazines yet. Or rather, I don't have that many 1911 magazines, and I don't want to use it when I'm going to have to be reloading every like 20 shots or so. Because right now, I think I have 8 9mm magazines, which means I'm only going to be reloading every 120 shots. One problem is that it is starting to jam a lot at this point. The weapon condition is in the toilet, but it will be enough for this fight. So I'll back to M36 just because I am sick and tired of my 9mm jamming. But honestly, I think this is just as bad as a jamming 9mm. With the 9mm occasion, you have to get X, but with this, you have to reload every 5 shots. And it doesn't let statement. And I don't really care about the accuracy anymore because with 5 aiming, I'm not going to be missing shots ever. Unless I'm, you know, stupid. Oh, so I sure love very much. If you're moving while shooting or trying to shoot at long range, you're going to just waste bullets. There's no reason to do that. And that's why Dark Crystals is that you saw how he just melted the entire board there. Just bam, 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 gone. You can't do that with melee. Maybe we're really high weapon level, but this is 5. You know, I've only been playing this run for 3 days and I'm already at this level. It just comes down to the fact that gun damage doesn't scale with aiming. Yes, need accuracy, and you can get accuracy by aiming at blank. You can't shoot through those bars there. I thought you can. You can't. I want to back my car up closer to the gun store, but I ended up aggroing even more zombies. And now at this point it is just back to mass looting. I don't even end up eating that cake I got earlier because it's gone stale. At this point, I showed out to finding a lot of Deagle magazines as well as 1911 magazines. And because of that, I know that like I can actually use the bigger caliber handguns. If I'm the M625 that I was looking for in the previous cum store, but at this point, I already have enough 1911 magazines that I no longer need that extra bit of, or rather, I no longer want to have the upsides of the revolver, which is, well, you can't preload the ammo, you can shoot in the middle of a reload. Because obviously, like, let's say you only have like 1 or 2 magazines. If you're completely empty with the 1911, you are going to have to reload all the way. You can't just like put in 2-3 bullets and then shoot a zombie, which you can do with the revolvers, which in certain situations can be really useful. Also, revolvers don't jam. At this point, I end up trashing my previous M9. I take all the attachments off of it so I can put them on whatever guy I'll be using next. I won't say I really should just edit this type of section out. I am just doing inventory management. But I wanted to record the whole thing because there's a lot of Zomboid content which is faked. And I didn't want to deal with people saying that the run was fake. Alright, now I get to have my first really big drive. I'm going to be going past Riverside towards about halfway to West Point. I'm not actually going to be stopping in West Point because while there is a gun store there, I think at this point I'm pretty much as loaded up with guns and ammo as I'm going to need to be for the run. And so I just have to make sure that I actually follow the route that I intend to go and not go the wrong way like I do just now. That's why that gas station. That gas station is a pretty neat little base. I actually based up there once when I was really new. I didn't even have a car. I think I died to something really stupid that run. Like, I walked into a house and I didn't see a zombie and it just got me because I didn't have my headphones on. I'm stressing at this moment. It is so nerve-wracking trying to navigate and get past all the zombies on the road while also making sure I don't kill any of them. Putting my co-host skills to work here. Dodging left, right, center. Actually considered stopping there to get more gas. But I was like, you know, I've got 8 bottles. I fill out the gas can. I will be fine. This is where I drive up into West Point because I need to get through it, and this stresses me out a lot. I don't like, or rather this is Riverside, this isn't, you know, West Point yet. So Riverside is a bit easier to drive through, but just driving through towns in general is stressful when you can't afford to just run over a single one. To get around just the inherent danger, the risk that it proposes, I'm going, most of the time, I'm only going like 30 miles per hour. If I have an empty stretch of road, I might go up to 60. But I have lost my previous furthest going run here because I ran over a zombie. I was going past the country club and I squished one and I had to restart. So now this is officially the longest lasting run that I have had. Now I actually stopped here because these pats you'll see these occasionally, these wheelie dense pats of like 20 or so zombies, and they always have a guy with a large backpack. These type of groups only spawn out in the far roads. Sometimes you'll see them like out in empty fields. That's supposed to be like a previous survivor who died. But for now, I am just packing up. I actually find this nice tiny little base here. And I use this as a stopping point for going between Riverside and West Point all the time with regular runs. It's just about halfway. And the drive from Riverside to West Point kind of wastes the entire time of daylight. So it's nice to have somewhere to stop. I'm a little worried about running into a zombie in here because there might be more in the woods, but there doesn't seem to be any, so I can just get a nice night's sleep. In this moment, I gotta take a moment just to see just how far I've come. I've almost circled like half of the map at this point. It's been quite a journey, especially for the fact that I've only been alive for 4 days. I'm not gonna skip my way through the entire tech tree. I already have a car. I already have tons of guns. If this character wasn't illiterate, this would actually probably be like a very meta way to, I guess, just skip all the way to the end game for what little end game there is in Zomboid. And after I sleep here, I actually end up taking a break in real life for several months because my keyboard was broken. My W key stopped working. You'll see it in this short bit of footage here where occasionally I will just stop moving. And that's because my W key doesn't work. And occasionally it will just not register that I'm holding down W, and as you can imagine, it is very frustrating and very risky. Especially with this fog coming in, which means I can't see the zombies in advance. And now at this point, I actually, this is what I've just gotten back after several months break. My keyboard is repaired. I forgot where I was going, so I go the wrong way there for a little bit. But I flip it around, and now we are doing the biggest drive. We are driving all the way into Louisville now. As you can tell, it is just swamped with fog. Usually in Zomboid, when days like these, I will just not go outside. I will just sit in my base, I will read, I'll do whatever grinding I can do. Because when your vision is this limited, it is just so... your chances of dying are so much higher than normal. But I'm on a very, very short time limit, so I don't have the time to, you know, skip the entire day. I need to get to the bridge before the helicopter does. I actually have to flip around here because there's just so many zombies in the road that I would have had to push through them and maybe accidentally kill one, which would suck to lose the run this far in. I go the wrong way again. I'm blaming that on the fog and the fact that I cannot see anything. Use the railway bridge here to get around. It is so much easier than trying to actually clear your way through that main bridge. And now we're on the main road into Louisville. Pretty exciting. Now I'm going to fog still. That is still scaring the crap out of me. Alright, and there's a little cut there. That's actually because I was trying to link up two bits of footage, and I forgot to record for like the first 2 seconds, but that is all that has changed. The fog cleared up, which is... I wish it was clear for the drive. I don't need clear skies as much for the fight. This is now the first stage of getting to Louisville. There's 3 gates you need to get through. The first one you have to move out of the way. The other 2 you can just open normally. With melee build, this area is even easier because obviously you don't have to shoot. When you shoot, you end up alerting everybody around you. So even if it's just one zombie standing where I need to be, I can't, you know, just shove and stop him. I have to pull out the gun and start blasting. Mac 11's kind of getting on my nerves here, but it ends up being my most used gun of the run, besides maybe the M9. It just does not have a whole lot of bullets in it. Now only 7+1, not a deal, especially when the gun, which is more accurate than it, has 15. And the extra damage of the 1911 doesn't make as much of a difference as you think it would. Get to the first door and start shooting. Actually just run past this one because this door is actually unlocked, which means I can get to this one here. And once again, it's a lock, but this time there's way more zombies, and I am actually panicking here. I'm completely surrounded. I cannot hop those fences. If these were regular fences, not barbed wire, I could just, you know, run up, hold E, hop over them really easy. but I get to this area here and I see all these sandites around, and that is good for me. Fences are honestly even more useful for guns than they are for melee weapons, because you can aim down at the ground at times, and zombies on the ground are vulnerable. You have higher crit chance against them, you have a higher accuracy, you can just melt an entire group. Like, even with aiming like 3, if you have 15 zombies coming over a fence and you can hit them all before they stand back up, every single one will die every time. Unless you're highly panicked, maybe, I'm not sure. Honestly, I think even then they would all die. So clearing up the shaggle is actually get a military backpack, which is slightly better than a large backpack. So I just swap everything over real quick. And I know the run is coming to an end very shortly, so I don't really bother to loot as much as possible, just because I know, like, okay, I'm pretty much done here. Do a bit more shooting. I was originally planning on just bedding down here, but I get a little paranoid over how low condition my guns are getting, because as I've said earlier, guns in this game don't have the most durability. This is mostly just baseless paranoia on, you know, the classic urge to gather way more than you need, more than you'll ever use, but it's too late at this point in time for me to drive to where I'm going to be camping out. So I might as well just get all the loot around, you know? Especially when I'm in an area that actually has a decent amount of guns and ammo. It's not as big as like a full-on gun store, but it's... I mean, it could be just like a small gun store if you think about it like that. Namely, this tent here, these crates can spawn ammo. I'll actually go to their one with guns first. How'd you find an M16 here? I can't use it, obviously, because the M16 is not a pistol, but it is pretty funny. The M16 is incredibly rare. I have friends who have spent an entire run trying to get an M16 and never managed to find one. And now I'm just shuffling ammo around. I get way more ammo than I will ever fire, but I am expecting there to be way more zombies than there are in Louisville. See, I usually play on 2 or 3 times population. Apocalypse is 1 times population, just the regular default. Even as you can imagine, that leaves... I'm expecting more than I'm gonna get. It's dark, I can't see anything, so I decided to just set up my tent in the one vacant that I know is already clear. And now I'm spawned in and ready for another day. This will be my final day of travel. When you look, I'll get to my destination, which is just shy of the bridge. There's a little garden over there. It doesn't have too many zombies in it, and I'm just gonna wait there. But first, I have to get past all these zombies, and this is particularly nerve-wracking. I would actually say it's worse than West Point, because in Louisville there's a lot of very tall buildings which allows you to block your line of sight when you're driving. Normally, not a big deal, but again, I can't afford to kill a single zombie by running over it. Bumping them is allowed because I don't think the run would be possible if bumping them wasn't allowed, and also because, in my mind, it's the same as shoving. And shoving also very, very slightly damages zombies. I end up aggroing way too many here for me to get around, so I try to just do like a quick loop to get past them. But I see there is an ambulance parked in between the 2 blockers, so I have to get out and start shooting. Alright, and so after wiping out those zombies, I can just drive through. It turns out the blockers don't actually stop you. That construction worker zombie isn't dead. Started to get on the fast forwarded footage, but he is alive and still moving. And so is that dude. You can actually see him get picked up. So I've pretty much finished my drive, and thankfully the fog has cleared up quite a lot at this point. And all I need to do at this point is just get to where I'm going to be camping, which is right here, right next to the bridge. I actually wasn't expecting the bridge to be covered in cars. I have never been through this part of Louisville before. So that kind of was a slight change of plans, and also I was expecting it to be way more zombies here. And that will actually come back to bite me in a couple of minutes. A couple of hours for the non-sped-up footage. So I just gunned down a few lone zombies, and I'm just like, well, I guess the whole area is open. And I go to the end of the bridge. I actually see these blockers there. I'm considering if I ever do this challenge again, maybe in B42, I will make sure I get a sledgehammer so I can actually get past those blockers. But for now, with the fancy, just imagine that, the helicopter lands and picks me up, I guess. I don't know. The idea about how to beat Zomboid is weird anyways. So I am just shooting more zombies. Actually, behind a decent amount, but at this point my aiming skill is at 5. And I can kind of just obliterate zombies, especially with the laser sight of my 1911. I have enough accuracy where I can occasionally move while shooting. I can just kind of mow down a horde without having to do those big circle strategies like I was doing earlier back in Jamieton. I was imagining this kind of all at once was what it was going to be like when I first got to the bridge, but it wasn't. I actually forgot to unbox my ammo, which is always annoying. I was thinking that I wasn't going to be able to use this big, as it's a fence, kind of a concrete fence, too much for the helicopter of it, because I wanted to stick entirely onto the bridge as part of the challenge, but that doesn't actually end up coming up that much. You'll see why later. I'm at 728 kills now, after 5 days survived, which is not my record. Using a shotgun, I obviously could get way more. For pistols only, I think it's decent. And Apocalypse mode, I use it as the default for challenges just because I know a lot of people play on Apocalypse mode and it's kind of the closest thing to a default that Zomboid has. But it's not hard. No sprinters kind of takes a lot of the challenge out of any run. But adding in sprinters makes things so much harder that it's hard to do silly challenge runs like this. And to be clear, I did fail this multiple times. I had some fail because I couldn't get a car. I had some failed because I ran over zombies. I had some failed because I screwed up and got eaten alive. And worst of all, I had one fail because I just couldn't find anywhere to sleep. And it was dark, and I ended up getting munched on from behind because I couldn't see any of those zombies. But at this point, I'm just kind of doing prep work for the helicopter event. Clear out the area ahead of time so that when the helicopter does come, it won't be a huge threat. I'll actually be able to survive. And I think I ended up doing a bit too much of a good job, but I don't realize that at the moment. So I am just looking for more than shoot at this moment. Find a decent amount of levels here. I was kind of hoping I could get the 6 aiming, but after you get level 5, you get I believe, 68% XP count. I think it is only 67. It's less. You get less than a third of the XP you used to get. And so actually hitting level 6 requires way more than it takes to get to level 5. I'm not 100% sure on the math, but I'm fairly certain that the XP required to get to 6 is more than it takes to get from 0 to 5. Not that I started at level 0 aiming. I'm not sure if this challenge would be possible with level 0 aiming, unless you just kind of wanted to hide. But I feel like, you know, there's a lot of optimal strategies you can do to make these challenges more easy, but I feel like they become kind of boring to watch if you put them into place. It'd be like, can I survive 100 days in Minecraft, and the guy digs 2 blocks down and sits in a hole for 40 hours. I steal a Sparta dispenser just because I want to set up like a little bit of camp at this point. You know, I get a little cozy with a water cooler. It's not really that cozy, but it's something. And I realized that on this path, I can actually probably get my car up because there's so few. The Dart is a very small car, and the cars aren't on the sidewalk. So Ruben, I filled my car up with gasoline. I don't know why I do this. I'm not going anywhere, but, you know, why not, right? Do some more basic inventory management. I'm trying to decide what guns I want to have on me for when the helicopter arrives, because after today it could come at any time. And so I was kind of thinking like, okay, what do I want? I decided to go with the 1911 and the M9 because the M9 is my favorite pistol, and the 1911 has served me well so far, and I have a ton of ammo for it. It was actually got cold during the night. Not cold enough to actually catch a cold. Your body temp has to be really low for that. Just making sure I was recording at that moment. But yeah, so I was like, you know what, I'll go get some cloves. I want to see if I can find a double holster along the policeman I killed earlier. I couldn't. So I decided like, okay, well, there's got to be a clothing store around here somewhere. You know, it's a huge strip mall. At least some place has to be a clothes store. That's like what every store was in the 90s. I think. I've never been in the 90s. Answer it if I do find one. I go ahead and I get a leather jacket to wear during the night and some snazzy shoes and a fancy snazzy pants and a fancy jacket for actually shooting people. Damn, kind of like a Hotline Miami look of the neon super bright colors and then getting all covered in blood. I thought it would be cool. And so it's raining at the moment and I don't like that. I usually blue them on. It makes rain a lot more dangerous because you can get cold so much easier. You get wet so much faster. This is vanilla, so that wasn't actually a threat. I kind of forgot. Do a bit more preemptive cleaning, and I decided to try to get even more food. I'm actually starting to get pretty low in weight at this point. And I was worried that, like, you know, what if the helicopter doesn't come until day 9? I need food. So I just gonna start wasting time. Just because I don't want to wait in the rain. But then the helicopter comes, and it is still day 1. So I am like, okay, this is go time. There's gonna be so many zombies coming because the helicopter is incredibly loud. It can move like zombies across multiple cells. And so with me being in, you know, the most downtown of Louisville, I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be huge, this is gonna be exciting. And then nothing actually ends up coming. And I am very confused by this because I am ready to go, you know? But I'm like actively trying to find zombies to shoot. I want there to be, you know, a big climax to this video. I've been working on it for a long time. I took so many tries. And it's just boring. I obliterate what few zombies that actually do come, and I'm just like, well, I guess I survived a helicopter event. So at this point, I've kind of won the challenge. I actually break it a little bit by going over the bridge, but it obviously doesn't matter. And so the helicopter doesn't come back, and I am able to just get some rest. But at this point, it's like, okay, that sucks. You know, I don't want to end the video on such a boring note, even though I did survive largely because of the preparations I did ahead of time. It's still lame. And the reason why it almost goes on these scheme is because of the fact that in Apocalypse mode, zombies won't follow sounds that are more than 100 tiles away, even if they are loud enough to alert the zombie. They'll just ignore them. And apparently that applies for the helicopter as well, because absolutely no one gamed, except for that zombie, which kinda jump scared me. It would have been really funny if I died to that one. But I, thankfully am a bit more alert than that. So at this point I'm like, okay, I haven't even fired my Deagle yet, you know? It's not a good gun, but it is a 44 caliber. It's very iconic. Are you feeling lucky, punk? And I want to use it. So I decide, you know what? I'm going to make my own helicopter event, and it's going to be cool. I actually just cheat this zombie. I consider just running him over because the challenge is technically over at this point. I have won, but I wanted to do something cool. And I still had a combat song that I hadn't used yet, and I planned all of the battles I was going to do in accordance to all the songs of different stages of a Toho game that I like. And so I'm like, okay, well, time to make my own helicopter event. I just drive around on the horn, and I believe these are all the zombies that did get aggroed by the helicopter. They just weren't willing to follow me all the way to the bridge. And so now, for one last time, for all the marbles, I do the biggest shootout of the entire run. And this is close to 400 zombies, so I'll just let the music play, and I'll let the gameplay play, and but y'all enjoy. Alright, and so that was the Project Zomboid pistol only challenge. I hope it was fun to watch. It was a lot easier than I was expecting. At least the gameplay was. I have never worked on a YouTube project this big, this long. I wouldn't really say ambitious because this is just kind of ported out for this challenge video formula to a game that I know very well as opposed to ones that I don't. And honestly, I had not expected it to be just this hard. Just showing my final kills there on 1101 in 7 days. Pretty cool. But yeah, it is just so much more work than I was expecting. Yeah, just of the time spent editing, time spent recording. The way you could play the game without any audio, like the music soundtrack, just because then you want to put your own music over it and you don't want your footage to be trying to play 2 songs at once. And honestly, I feel like that was probably the worst part. Zomboid has a great soundtrack, and playing it without it is not fun. But yeah, I won. I did it. I am the best gamer alive, clearly. And so thank you all for watching. I don't think I'm ever going to make another video like this yet. This is way too much work for me. I don't know how people do it full time. Good for them. Oh, I'm just showing off how little damage I get my car here because I'm a better driver than you. And so, with everything done and nothing more to say, I guess I will shut up and I'll let the credits roll. And thank you once again for watching. Have a good day.